In this presentation, we're going to look at the chi-square test, but test for independence of categorical variables. And okay, so let's first off look at the data set we're going to use. We're going to use this data set called survey, and it's in the MASS R package, which we can find in R. Now, we don't have to install this package or anything like that. We can call it directly. So we just type in library MASS. Good stuff. And it should be there. You can also go to this drop down menu and go load packages, and the menu will come up. And if you just search for it there, you'll get MASS. There it is there. Okay, so cancel that. Let's go and so let's have a quick look at the survey, head of survey. So it is a couple of variables there of interest, but what I might be particularly interested in is just over here on the side. There is the let's just let me get a closer look at that. The xer variable, which we're interested in, and also this other variable smoke, which is just here. So xer and smoke are what we're going to be what we are particularly interested in for this particular exercise. What we're going to do is see if there's any relationship between xer, which is to do with exercise, and the level of smoking in this data set. So quick look at the summary of survey. There we go. There we have it there, just right in front of us. There are three. Xer is what they call a factor, which is a categorical variable. And what we are factors variables have what they call levels, or essentially just categories. So there are three categories within xer: freak for frequently, none for none, no exercise, and some for some exercise. Likewise, we have smoke there just beside it: heavy, never, occasionally, and regular. Okay, and we have one NA. So what we might do is get a cross tabulation of those variables there. Let's do that actually. Or let's just go back to my notes actually, just see if I've missed anything. Yeah, pretty much said everything I need to say. What we're going to use here is use the table command. Okay, so clear that. By the way, I go to clear the screen like I do that is Control L. Okay, survey. Watch the capital letters. Xer has a capital letter there, and so does smoke. So that's our table there, cross tabulation. Something actually we might be interested in doing also is add in margins. So we have the row totals and column totals. The reason why I might mention that is because if you're doing this for a pen and paper exercise, or to check your pen and paper exercises, that would help just in case you make any mistakes. So we have 236 cases altogether. We have an NA case there. So if there's an NA for one case, that case is not featured here. I think we had one one case where there was no answer for smoking, an NA. There we have it there, cross tabulation, and so you might notice here actually that we have some very small cell sizes. We have a 1, a 3, a 1, a 4. This is really not ideal. Really what we need is our cell size at least 5. Or anyway, it could cause a problem. So I'm not actually. There's just to do with the cell sizes. It can cause a problem. Something we'll come back to that later on. Okay, yep, got that done. So small cell sizes, that could cause a problem. Okay. So what we could do actually is we could re-level. We could set up a new variable here called. I'm going to set up a new variable called xer2, new data set, and I'm going to essentially the reason for that is just to preserve the original data set in case I might make a mistake. I'm going to set this up. Let's clear the screen there actually. xer2 is we'll just set it up in a new variable just to preserve the original data, not to mess with the original data. xer2. Now, what is it? Summary of xer2. Oops, did it again. Okay, frequency, none, sum, mode of xr2, numeric, class, factor. Okay, so remember we said that levels, factors have levels. Okay, so levels. Mode, just actually, sorry, mode and class are two really useful commands and summary, just for sort of getting a sense of the data set. And I was just messing around there, just have a quick look at the, you get the hang of this actually, but mode, class, summary, just to get a sense of what the data set's about. It's actually quite useful. So the levels of xr2, this is actually shows what categories exist in a variable. In a factor variable. What we could do here is that we could, let's just bring that back up again, we can change them, and what we're going to do is combine the second two, none and sum, in together, and I'm going to call it not freak. But how do I do that? What we're going to do is we're going to leave frequently alone. The second one, none, that's going to join the not freak category, and likewise sum is also going to join the not freak new category. Okay, so let's look at xr now, or get a summary of xr2 now. Brilliant, perfect. So that's much better. We still might have problems when we go back to the table, but they're not as bad as they were previously. So xr2, let's have a look at that. There we have it there, freak and not freak. I mean, they're still small, but we just have to live with that. Now, we're here to do a chi-square test, so let's do a chi-square test. I'll do it with the original data set first. So the command here is chi-squared, chisq.test. Let's just run it for the original data set. Xr and survey smoke. Okay. So it's Pearson chi-square test. This here, x squared, is actually, that x is supposed to represent the Greek letter chi, which is similar in appearance to x, but obviously it can't be printed out like by the R output. Now what we're interested in here is the p-value, and the p-value will tell us, is there essentially, what can we assume that there is a relationship or no. And in this case, the null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between xr and smoke. So exercise and smoking, is there any relationship between the two? We fail to reject the null hypothesis that there's any relationship. There's no relationship between xr and smoke, exercise and smoke. So we fail to reject that null hypothesis, and so on. So I'm more interested here in the R coding. So if you're interested in chi-square test, this is probably not the right presentation for it, in terms of how to interpret the p-values or what the test is about. One thing, actually, you see this warning message down here. This is about the cell. That's partly to do with the cell size problem. So what we could do there is we could run it again. Actually, let's clear the screen there and go xr2. We still might get the same problem, but essentially, no, actually, xr2 actually was sort of managed to clean it out there. Obviously, we're dealing with different data here, so we're going to get different p-values and so on, different degrees of freedom. Here again, we get a large p-value, 0.3571, and that says that there essentially our null hypothesis there is there is no relationship between xr2 or exercise and smoking, and there's not enough evidence there to check that reject that null hypothesis. Just as a sort of quick remark, actually, the default setting for chi-square test with regards to a thing called Yates correction is that it will do the Yates correction. So the default setting is correct equals true. We could do this, turn off the Yates correction by going that correct equals false. I'm not sure if it does for this particular data set will make much of a difference, but it can in general. Okay, it doesn't actually do anything in this data set. It's essentially if you're doing a pen and paper exercise or checking this for pen and paper purposes to get the chi-square test test statistic, you will not do it with Yates correction. So, yeah, that's everything I want to say actually. Let's just go back to my slides here. Yeah, test the hypothesis that the smoking habit is independent of their exercise level at 0.05%. So we got a very high p-value there, 0.4828. That's with the original data set. So we do not reject the null hypothesis. There is no relationship between. We do not reject the null hypothesis that the smoking habit is independent of the exercise level. All right. That's grand. So the key thing there was the chi-square test and also this business of how to change levels or rewrite the levels. That was actually also quite interesting. It's much simpler than you think. Okay, you don't have to go into any if statements or anything like that. You can just rewrite them like that. Okay, good stuff. Bye bye.